Part 5 of section 1.2. Once again, I'm going to start with just going over the questions that are on pages 38 and 39 from the codominance questions, the codominance practice. So feel free to pause it and go slower if you need to, or skip past it if you don't feel like you need it at all, if you feel really confident in your answers. Okay, so a black feathered chicken is crossed with a white feathered chicken. So phenotype, you're going to end up with 100% of them being checkered. So every single square is going to have one black feather allele and one white feather allele, which means genotype is that, yeah, FB, FW, and 100% of them are that. Okay. A black one is crossed with a black and white one. So that's referring to like the checkered thing again. So black is crossed with checkered. You go through and you fill it out. Phenotype ratio, so 50% of them are going to be black. So those ones are all going to be black. And then 15% of them are going to be checkered. So 50% of them are FB, and 50% of them are FB, That is a super messy graph. There we go, that's better. Black and white, so that's that checkered thing, is crossed with a white one. So same thing as the last one, or the one where it was done with the black one, works out to pretty much the same thing. So 50% of them are checkered and 50% of them are white, and then 50% of them are FB, which is what gives us the checkered, and 50% of them are FW, which is what made them white. And then a black and white one is crossed with a black and white one. So it doesn't specifically say checkered, so that's where this gets a little confusing, particularly in the next set of more written questions. The phenotype ratio, so 25% of them are going to be black, so that is that FB for the genotype. 50% of them are going to be checkered, so that's FB, and the FB, and then 25% of them are going to be white. Okay, so that's that FW. Is it possible for two black chickens to produce anything other than black chickens? No. So if you've got two black chickens, that's FB crossed with FB. There's only FB alleles present. All the babies are going to have to be FB. Is it possible for two white chickens to produce anything other than white chickens? Exactly the same answer, just with white instead of black. Is it possible for two black and white chickens, so that's those checkered ones again, to produce anything other than black and white chickens? So yes, some will be plain black, some will be plain white, and then some will be the black and white. So the fourth Punnett square on page 38, that last one we did, showed that one. What phenotype does each parent need to be to produce only black and white offspring? So in order to have all of the babies be checkered, one parent needs to be black, one parent needs to be white. So we have a black parent, FB, FW, and a white parent. And that just continues, okay? So they're all FB, FW. That's the first one that was given on page 38. Okay, and why do we refer to this as codominant? So both alleles are expressed if present. So you can think about if you have like a co-worker, that's two people working together, if you cooperate. So that prefix of co indicates that both things are valued kind of equally within it. Okay, so an alternative to codominance is incomplete dominance. So this is page 35 in your textbook. Once again, section 1.2 has been linked in the files part of Teams. So when one allele is not completely expressed over another and they blend, so instead of being like patchy and showing both, it shows kind of a midway in between, we consider it to be incomplete dominance. So just like in codominance, we give a capital letter to the gene, so for example, C for color, and then superscript letters for the allele, so R for red, W for white. So not any different really as far as like the setup goes for the codominance, it's just sort of a different end result. On occasion, you will find sources that just use 2 different letters for different alleles, so R for red, W for white. It's kind of done this way to give it something that distinguishes it from codominance. It's usually older documents that will have that. Usually some things that are more recent use the capital letter for the gene and then the superscripts that are different for the allele. I don't know, that isn't a mirror on my side. I don't know what it's going to look like on you. So I'm going to do this really quickly. CR, 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 CW, CW, CW. Okay, so give the genotypic and phenotypic ratio from a cross between 2 pink flowers. So that is CR, CW crossed with CR, CW. Okay, so CR, CW crossed with CR, CW. I'm going to get CR, 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 CW, CR, CW, and CW, CW. So genotypic ratio for this. Okay, so that's looking at just the letters that are there. So 25% CR, CR, 50% are CR, CW, and 25% are CW, CW. In our phenotypic ratio, that means 25% are red, 50% are pink, and 25% are white. Okay, so 2 pink flowers, 25% of their offspring are going to be red, 50% of them are going to be pink, just like the parents were, and then 25% of them are going to be white. Okay. Example, give the genotypic and phenotypic ratio from a cross between a red flower and a pink flower. So in this case, our red flower, CR, CR, and our pink flower is CR, CW. So split those up, CR, 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 CW. Okay, this is going to be here, CR, 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 CW, CR, 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 CW. Okay, so if we look at these up here, these ones are both CR, CR, and then these ones down here are both CR, CW. So 50% are CR, CR to 50% CR, CW, which means 50% are red to 50% are pink. Okay, so flowers is one of the places that we commonly see this. There's other examples of incomplete dominance that are out there though. So in some mice, you end up with black fur being dominant over white fur. In other species of mice, you end up with an incomplete dominance. So the trait that we'd be looking at for this would be like fur color. So maybe we might want to say fur is black and the fur is white. And 2 of the black fur ones would give us our black mouse, and then 2 of the white fur ones would give us our white one, and then 1 of each would give us our gray. Hair color, or not hair color, hair texture. Okay, you can have curly hair, and you can have straight hair, and wavy hair is the result of the incomplete dominance. So, okay, and then 1 of each for the wavy hair. Okay, you've got some incomplete dominance practice on pages 41 and 42. try them out. They're really not any different than any of the previous ones. You just have to think about kind of what your end result might be. Fortunately, they're all just based off of the carnation, so those red and white and pink flowers again. So it should be pretty straightforward. Good luck.